Go back to something you were talking about in regards to you have to have some type of, relationship with God or some type of higher, being or something like that. But can we find anywhere else where marriage was created by anybody outside of God?
No.
So when you think about an iPhone, you already know who the founder of iPhone is, right?
Right.
So you don't think about anybody other than the founder of iPhone.
Right.
Or whether it's Samsung or whatever it is, you go to the founder of who created it. You know what I mean? Steve Jobs, when we think about, we go straight to, well, that's Apple.
Right.
But when we think about marriage, it's kind of like, well, it can come from anywhere else other than God.
Right.
But God created it. And outside of a personal relationship with Him, you're not married, you're just together. That's what that is. You're just together, And I think that so many people, that is one of the biggest issues amongst so many people, and why we're seeing the divorce rate at the rate that we're seeing it is because people are trying to do marriage their way or the way that everybody else has taught them to do it. But if you're having an issue with how to, turn off a warning light in your car, you go to the owner's manual, right? To find out, okay, on page 36 it says, you know what I mean? Hey, if you will do this, did you check this, then it should work. Well, most people don't go to the Bible. They go to friends, they go to family, they go to experiences with other people.
Which is crazy, man, because I tell people all the time, what worked for you in your relationship works for you. Like it's not like a one, you know what I'm saying, one thing fix all. Like that ain't how it works. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure the person who you asking advice for or talking to, there may be some things that they deal with in their relationship that you feel like you would never deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, you can't necessarily go off of what friends, family, you know what I'm saying, say, or their opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that some of our families, if you know that they have a Christ-centered marriage and their marriage is built off biblical principles, and if they're telling you something that lines up or doesn't violate what God's word says about marriage, I mean, it's just a matter now of applying that and then seeing the results of it. It's not that God's word isn't going to work. It will. It's just that how long will you stay consistent when you're going through struggles and issues, to see it come to fruition, But I think that's, I even take my marriage and I put that out there. My wife and I have been married. We just celebrated 15 years in June. And for us, oh man, thank you. But for us, it was after year one, we were done. Like, we were done. We had done everything under the sun except for physical abuse and substance abuse. Everything else, you name it, we had been through that, you know. And it was because we were straddling the fence. It was like, we need to look good right here, but behind the scenes, we are miserable. We are torn up, And we just made a decision that because we had our son, like, what's next for us? Either we're gonna be all in or we're done. And the moment we decided that we were going to do away with, for this season, we're gonna do away with friends, we're gonna do away with what everything else and everybody else, and we're just gonna go and seek God for, what it is we should do for our relationship. Man, it completely changed everything. If we hadn't given up then, we wouldn't know what today would be like. There would be no Made for Marriage. And the reason why Made for Marriage is about, and we have started this organization, is because my wife and I realized that, man, this is why God created us, to be a living example and example of what He is like to us. You know what I'm saying? You take two people who are totally opposites and you put them together, and they're to become one. Mm-hmm. That's not easy, and it wasn't meant to be easy because you're constantly learning each other. But what happens is we get married and it's like, well, you don't fit the bill, you don't fit the bill, so therefore I'll find somebody else that will. And every relationship you go to, you're constantly trying to find something in somebody, and they're not perfect. They won't ever be perfect.
Right.
And when we get tired of it, we just say, you know what, I'll find something else. And we just start, we don't even make marriage what it's intended to be, and that is to be a representation of Christ's love in the earth realm. You know what I'm saying? When my spouse does wrong for me.
You seem like you're so far, but you're still in my reach.